Hey, DSAL is in the house.
All
Yeah.
right.
Welcome, Jennifer and Steve.
Thank you.
So, what's going on with DSAL? What's DSAL all about? People
Well,
want to know.
Yeah, so the DSAL is Dripping Springs Art League. We formed at the end of 2023 after several community meetings, and we talked with artists, local artists and galleries, and recognized that there's so much local talent here, and it just was looking for something to kind of tie it together and provide more opportunities for artists. So as a result, the DSAL formed, and we offer lots of different classes and support and markets and other activities for local
So,
artists.
before we dive into that,
Yes.
what are your positions in the DSAL? You are
So I am the president of the DSAL.
Jennifer?
I am not the president yet. I'm membership.
And so, you're a nonprofit.
Correct, yes.
But you start as an entity trying to figure out how to create a DSAL. How long did it take you before it became a nonprofit?
Well, from the very beginning, the inception started early 2023. We had a gallery tour in the spring. Then we sat down with the gallery owners and curators that summer to talk about what the next step might be. And so we wanted to hear from the community. So we had community meetings to listen and hear what the community might be interested in. And honestly, there was just a groundswell of interest. We had over 50 people come out to our meeting and share a lot of what they were interested in. So from there, we felt like we had the green light to go forward. We had a lot of support from the community. That was in August, and by December, we were a nonprofit. So
Interesting.
it was
Excellent.
quicker than I thought it would be.
So how many members do you have now?
175 and growing.
That's pretty fantastic
Yeah.
for such a short time.
It is.
Right?
It is.
So,
It's amazing.
Jennifer, tell us about your background.
So I've been doing art for about 7 years or so, and just I love creating. It's what I do when I'm not. I do it all the time. I don't cook. I don't do laundry. I just do art.
So did you instigate DSAL? Did you kind of tell Steve, we got to do this? Or how did this come about?
You know what? It just formed very organically. I think we moved here as empty nesters in 21, and in 22 I went to go get my hair cut and saw all the art on the walls, and I asked my hairstylist about getting some of my art on the wall, and next thing I knew, I was the curator of the whole gallery. So that kind of forced me into my stuff is on all the walls, and that was the first. So between that and then the gallery tour, and then just one thing led to another, and I just felt like there was something here. But Steve and I were talking, and we're like, should we cancel that meeting? Because what if nobody shows up? I mean, the two of us can't do it all, and so.
And so, Steve, you're not an artist, is what I'm understanding here. Or are you an artist?
Well, I think I'm working on my third career.
Yeah.
So my first, I worked in corporate America for 30 years. After I retired, I wrote a few books. And so that was my mini career. And then this is my third one. And I would say I'm an artist in waiting. There's
That's a good way of saying it.
What I've realized is that art is such a broad concept. I mean,
Right.
as a non-artist, honestly, I thought, you have a paintbrush and something and you apply it and that's
Right.
art. And while that is art, we have metal artists and fiber artists and sculptors and muralists, and we have such a wide variety. And so it's great to be exposed to that and see the magic that they can produce.
Right.
And so I get to help support that. And I think along the way, I'll find my artistic endeavors beyond writing. So
I think it's glass.
The glass.
Glass.
Well,
making.
we're going to have a second interview about the glass work of
Yeah,
Mr. Steve.
I keep hinting.
Yeah. So you're up to 165 members. You've
75.
175. Well, it was 165 just a few seconds ago. So the growth has been spectacular. How are you advertising? How are people finding you?
I just think we're very busy with our activities. Our social media team is amazing. We have over 1,100 subscribers or followers on Instagram, and just growing every day I look at it.
So I'm going to include the DSAL Instagram. Do you know what it is offhand?
Dripping Springs Art League, all one word.
Okay. And then any surprises with your members? Something that you
Yes.
never would have thought about?
Well, just a couple days ago, I met with a friend of mine who joined the Art League after she realized she hadn't been a member for about 4 months. But when she joined, she realized she wasn't an artist, but she loved art. Her mother was an artist. She was surrounded by art growing up, and it just felt really good for her. But she is interested in some of our clubs, and she's helping on the website. And so she retired, she closed her business after 30 years, and now she feels like she has a passion for doing something that utilizes her skills, not necessarily art,
Yeah.
but like she'll arrange all of our art outings for our Day Trips Club. So
Let's talk about it a
Yeah.
little bit more. So if I were to ask you guys to sum up, what are the 3 main things about DSAL right now? I'm hearing a little social, I'm hearing a little education. What is your mission, I guess, and then let's talk from there.
it's art, community, and connection.
Yeah, it really ties back to what we heard at that community meeting.
Yeah.
There were people that wanted to expand their art skills, right? Or learn different types of art. So hence the art aspect of the mission. Community, because almost everybody in the room said, I want to socialize. I want to collaborate with, but I also just want to meet other artists.
Yeah.
Remember one of the gentlemen that came up to us at that event was a metal artist. And he said, I've never met another metal artist. I would love to just be part of that art community.
Right.
And then the connection is really, how do I connect with buyers? How can I sell my art? And so there were certainly a number of people that wanted to do that. So we took that on as our mission.
Yep.
And we really reflect on that constantly about new programs and do they fit into one of those categories? Are we still meeting our mission? And it's really driven us to expand. And I think that's one of the reasons why the membership has grown, is because we're providing really what the community said they needed for Art League.
Right.
And word of mouth. On our membership applications, we always ask, how did you hear about us? And it's usually from another member. So.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
So, the financial side of me, being part of Primal Gallery, I'm going to start asking the tough questions.
They're all yours.
They're all yours.
So, what is your membership acquisition cost? Or you had mentioned that you guys are just not really advertising, right? People are just finding you.
Yeah, we do a lot of posts through our social media group, but that's all really, other than time. I mean, we are a volunteer organization. Everybody's a non-paid volunteer, and so the amount of activity and growth we have is solely dependent on volunteers. Certainly some of the activities cost some money, and so there's a financial aspect to it.
Right.
But largely we grow and we publicize through volunteers. Occasionally we'll boost an Instagram or something, but I would say the acquisition cost is basically negligible.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, how many people are volunteering for you guys?
We have a really big core group of people. Our leadership team is 11, and each of those some of them have up to 5 people just on their one committee. So,
Wow.
And then we've had a couple of big events that required a lot of dreaming and brainstorming and putting together. For like the Songwriters Festival, we had an art lounge there, and then for our gala. So those were probably another 15 or so regulars. I would say we have about 30 or more, maybe
than
40
That's quite a few.
volunteers.
Right.
So yeah,
And so this has almost become a full-time job.
it is.
So much for retirement, right?
My son says he thinks I work more than I did when I was actually working at a job. But, I don't know if that's true, but it's completely different, It's
And-
different
and
when
if you're enjoying it, right?
Enjoying it,
Yeah.
you're working with really great people, and so it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's the same way here at Primal Gallery. I had envisioned working just the weekends.
Yeah.
Now I'm a Texas tourist stop. I'm required to be open 5 days a week. So much for retirement, right?
Right.
So, how do you view the other art leagues in the area? Do you think they're competition, or are you teaming up with them? Tell us what you think about that.
I think we're all very unique in what we do and who we serve. And I think it's just based on the communities and what the communities want. So we're different because we just have so many member-driven clubs and things that people can participate in. It's not just like a once a month activity, but it's more do as much as you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, we before we formed, we met with a number of the art leagues. Just recently, we had a luncheon with a few of the other Hays County art leagues. So I think it's a collaborative opportunity for us to learn from each other. They were very giving of information when we were
Right.
trying to pull everything together at the very beginning. And so I think there's things that we can share and learn from each other. And it's just growing art in the area.
Yeah, and people ask me that. Why are you associating yourself with other galleries? They're your competition. And I find that it's better, actually, to team up with the competition to a certain extent. You know, I mean, it does help. So if you look at your members, what is the member, what location, how far is the radius from Dripping Springs? Who is your member that lives the farthest away, for example?
We have Round Rock, San Antonio, Johnson City, and South Austin.
Kudos to
pretty much.
you guys for
Wimberley, yeah.
that's a ways.
And what's even more interesting is it's not just that they're members, but these are some of the people that come and volunteer frequently.
Wow.
And they're driving an hour in some cases
Right,
to get
right.
here for activities. So
Isn't that crazy?
it is.
Yeah. So you've obviously there was a demand of some sort, and you guys are doing that. That's great.
Yeah, we talk about, we didn't bring art to Dripping Springs or create art. These artists are here. They've been here. They're doing amazing work. We're just helping to kind of support them and highlight them. But yeah, I think there's been a need here for something that could bring the community together.
So when's the anniversary?
Well,
And is it when you became a nonprofit or when you started it?
so we have a few key dates that we talk about.
Yeah.
Just this past week, we had what we call our birthday. So this was when a number of gallery owners, including yourself, got together at the coffee shop at the
Yeah,
Big Black
yeah.
Table, and we talked about
What date
that
was
first.
that?
It was
February 9th.
February 9th.
Yeah.
23. So 2 years now, our birthday. Our anniversary is really, sometimes we talk about the date we had the community meeting and realized there was a lot of support, and that was
Yeah.
the end of August
That's the green
2023.
light. That was the green light.
So that
date.
was, either the green or the red light, and it was a big green, so we moved forward. Later in the quarter, we ended up establishing the nonprofit. But
Yeah.
that's more of a technical, on the book sort of.
What's next? Is there a goal for a quota for number of members? What's the next big goal?
I think membership, like Jennifer's, as she's described, membership is just intrinsically growing.
Yeah.
And so we want it to just continue to grow. Our jump in the first year or so to 175 is something we really didn't imagine.
Yeah.
But I think the reality is there are just so many artists that, another 50 to 100 this year. I mean, there's so many artists.
and more people
so,
moving here too.
Right.
yeah, it's a growing area and so forth. So, we have some expectations, I would say.
Yeah.
But really, I think that the way it's grown, as you described, is what we're really focused on. Putting out good programs that the community wants to participate in, and that more than anything just helps it to grow.
Yeah.
Where we end up at, I don't know, but happy to do it.
Well, some of those, we worked with the city of Dripping Springs to put the star sculptures on Mercer Street. So that was, you had to be a member in order to submit your design. We have art markets, and you get a better rate if you're a member. Other calls for art, for hanging art in public spaces, and so that's a members only. So I think we have things that people want to participate in,
Yeah.
and so therefore become members so that they can do that.
I think one of the most exciting things that I've experienced in the past year are at our art markets. So we've had several art markets in the past year, and now we're excited to be at the Triangle downtown Dripping Springs for second Saturday in the spring and in the fall. But what we've seen in the art markets that we've had so far is at least half of the artists are first-time marketers. They've
I love
never
that,
done
right?
that before.
Yeah.
So perhaps for the first time, somebody other than their immediate family or friends are seeing their art, and that takes a lot of courage, I think, to break out of that and bring it out into the public, not knowing what you're going to hear, if you're going to sell anything.
Right.
But I would say, everyone we've had come to markets has reflected on it and felt like it was a fantastic experience. They get feedback, they get to talk about their art with somebody
Yeah.
other than their spouse, and they sell oftentimes hundreds and even more than $1,000 in some cases, and they walk away, with this new sense of energy
Yeah.
and motivation. And
It's
it can be
definitely
game-changing
motivating,
for their
right?
art.
Yeah. And I have so many new artists that are just super talented. They come in here and they don't feel like they're good enough. And then when I make the sale and I send them that email, hey, I sold one. Oh,
Yeah.
it's really
It
cool.
really can be
Yeah.
life-changing.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
So, well, good. I'm glad you guys dropped by. We're going to talk again soon, right? Do you have some events coming up?
We do.
Yeah. You want to tease us a little bit on what's coming up?
Sure. Well, as you know, and we talked briefly about, our origin started in putting together a gallery tour in 2023. And this spring, we'll have our first gallery and studio tour. We're calling it the West of Weird Art Tour. We have 35 people as part of the tour, including galleries and home studio artists, and May 17th and 18th. And so another great opportunity for our artists to just share their art and for the community to come out and see all the talent that's right in our neighborhoods.
Super.
And to see
super.
where they create.
Yeah. That's right.
Well, I'm so glad you guys did this. And I appreciate you guys coming to Primal Gallery, talking about it. We'll see you again soon before the tour.
Yes, for
And-
sure. And thank you for hosting us today, but also for hosting so many wonderful artists in the neighborhood, because you're making a difference in the art community for sure.
I try. And I'm looking forward to putting some of Steve's art up, in addition to Jennifer's.
Well, don't hold on to the space quite yet, for me anyway.
Good seeing you.
All right, thank
Thanks.
you. Good to
Thanks,
see you.
Joe.
Bye.